前日のパイレーツ戦で左膝の炎症を訴え、途中交代していた大谷翔平選手。シカゴへ移動したドジャースですが、大谷翔平選手はチームメイトより少し遅れて球場入り。ロバーツ監督は昨日の試合後、軽傷を強調していましたが、この日は無理をさせず、先発メンバーから外れる形となりました。試合中にはホワイトソックスの村上宗隆選手とジェスチャーでやり取りする場面もあり、リラックスする様子も見られた大谷翔平選手。ただ、大谷翔平選手不在のドジャース打線はやはり迫力を欠きました。 DH にエスピナル選手が入り、1番にはアレックス・コール選手が入りましたが、チーム全体として攻撃の流れを作りきれませんでした。先発佐々木朗希投手は4回までは1失点と粘りの投球を見せます。しかし5回に押し出し四球のところで交代。代わったトライネンもタイムリーを許し、さらに長打も浴びて、試合は一気にホワイトソックスペースへ。4回3分の1を投げて7安打7失点で今季4敗目となりました。一方、ドジャースに大勝したホワイトソックスは、選手らもファンも大興奮でした。試合後、ロバーツ監督は大谷翔平選手のアップデートなど語りました。
Dave, things obviously shifted there in that fifth inning. What did you just either see from Roki on the pitching side or even on the defensive side with the play, that kind of the ball that went under Freddie's glove that usually would probably be a double play for him?
Yeah, I think obviously the leadoff walk right there. And I think, even at the outset, I don't think Roki's stuff was as crisp as it has been recently. You can see that he couldn't land the split. Really didn't have command of it. And then, you talk about that inning and, the leadoff walk, then there's a flare in there, and there's a potential double play ball that we just couldn't get a handle on. And then at that point in time, I just thought, didn't do any work on Vargas, and something was out over. Then he hits the double, and then the 3 walks that inning. So all that stuff kind of led to that big inning, and that's one thing that Roki's been done a really nice job of. And as a staff, we've done a pretty good job of not allowing, the huge inning. And, the last couple times in the last 4 or 5 games, we've given up big numbers, and that unfortunately that happens.
When you look at Roki's stuff and how you mentioned it just wasn't as sharp per se, what part of it was kind of missing for you? And just did it feel like this potentially was a step backwards, or do you still feel like he's in a good spot moving forward, just an off night?
I think he's in a good spot. I think certainly it's not the outcome that we wanted, but I think tonight I thought the fastball velocity was good. The fastball had good life to it. I just thought he just couldn't command that split. And so you look back the last 7 outings, he's been able to strike it, he's been able to shorten it for swing and miss, and today he just couldn't do that.
The bigger innings for you guys recently as a team, how much of that has come down to like strikes throwing and not playing behind and walking guys?
Yeah, that's what it is. I think that you're giving away free bases, and then you're allowing slug. And so when you see numbers of 7 or 5 or 4, 6, those are hard to overcome. But when you can give up 1, 2, 3 limit damage, then you have a chance to win. And as good as our offense is, you just can't. It's hard to weather those innings.
The second inning kind of feel like it loomed large too, to not get more out of that as the game went on.
Yeah, I thought the K kid got a good arm. Haven't seen him. I thought we put ourselves in a good position to put up a big crooked number to stress those guys. But yeah, you come away with 2 or 1 and 1 or 2 runs in 1 inning, and we had a chance situationally to hit a fly ball, let alone get a base hit, to really kind of put some distance in the game, but it just didn't happen.
Where do you make where Trinan's at right now, and what you guys have kind of seen out of the ups and downs with him?
I think Blake physically feels good. I think that certainly doesn't feel confident with his entire pitch mix. The sinker's been good all year. Today the ball was up a lot. Obviously, kind of with where we were at, he had a run of left-hand hitters, and you still got to find a way to minimize some damage there. But he wasn't able to do that. I think overall, trying to get him to get some confidence. I think that he's been there, done that, but I think even him, you got to have some success by way of performance to feel good when you take the mound.
It's just the carryover from that from last year, especially like the lack of confidence and the stuff you were kind of talking about at the end of last year with him?
I don't know. I'd like to think not, given how long he's been around. Can't really recall the spring. I thought early on in the season, I thought he was very good. I think his first, 4 or 5 outings, he was dynamic and lights out. And then at that point on, it just kind of gone south right there. But, got to kind of find a way to get him in some good runs and then reset him and get him on a good run here.
Do you think that Roki might be a little better equipped to kind of flush a start like this now that he does have more of a foundation of success at this level?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can expect him to be, perfect every time out. He's on a good run. He really is. And so it is a good test for a young player that, after he has one like this, how he responds. That's something that we're all waiting to see. But I do think that he's equipped now with a kind of a good base of some success.
Hey Dave, can you talk about your relationship with Will Venable and what the job he's doing over there with the White Sox?
Will's doing great. He's a little brother to me. He's a mentee of mine. I love the way he leads people. He's doing a great job with the White Sox. It's fun coming here, and I remember a few years back it was empty, and there was a lot of dismay here in the South Side, and now there's a lot of energy, excitement. They're in first place. It's a young, kind of a tough, athletic team. They're pitching well, so Will's the perfect guy. I'm really happy for him, and hopefully we can win a series, though.
Can you add on to that with Vargas, the season he's having? He was in your organization. You guys traded him here, and he's been blossoming this season.
Yes, he's thriving, and with young players, it takes time. But Miggy's a baseball player, always had the ability to hit. The defense has gotten a lot better. He's in good shape. And so, seeing him as one of those leaders over there, and obviously Murakami's done a nice job for those guys. But, I'm very happy for Vargy.
Did Shohei end up doing anything today?
He just got treated. So talking to the training staff just right now, I'm optimistic, but I want to, get him through tonight, get him here, go through some semblance of a workout, getting his body ready, and then we'll go from there.
また試合前には大谷翔平選手の欠場について詳しく語っていました。
Dave, last night you had spoke about Shohei Ohtani, and you were hopeful that he would be in the lineup, but of course due to late travel, potentially some other things, he's not out there today. What just led to that decision, and how is he doing today?
He's doing fine today. I think that we got some pictures. There was no findings. It's just the normal wear and tear. I thought initially it was a hamstring. It was the knee, so it just kind of got upset, swelled up a little bit, and so I think we were kind of getting ahead of it, smart, getting him out of the game, which I think was prudent. And then with the travel, it just to give him an extra day. And my hope is that he's in there tomorrow. But if not, he'll need another day. But it's something that I think that we can manage. Not an IL situation. And just seeing him today, he feels fine-ish. But again, just giving him an extra day is the smart thing to do.
Do you have a better idea as to when this happened?
There is no incident. We don't know. He doesn't know. And I asked him if it was during the pitching, was it, when he was hitting, when he was trying to steal a base, and there was no one, incident. So I don't know. I think that's maybe a good thing.
When you say the knee, is there a specific part of the knee? Is it something that is related to that 2019 surgery that he had, or?
He said that there was some soreness in the back, and then that's where the swelling is at. But that's where a lot of the swelling with the knee kind of builds. But again, his range of motion today is good. And so if it was another, time in the season, he'd be in there tonight.
Is he going to be available tonight?
For Will Venable's sake, yes.
Has he gone through baseball activities today?
No, not today. No, he might kind of crank it up a little bit later in the cage.
Wednesday?
As of now, yes.
Imaging, was that done this morning? I'm assuming just some MRI.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it something that you guys can identify, if it's just from the landing from when he pitches that might contribute to it? Is it something that feels a little more just like random or like a normal injury like that? Like, is it? Can you?
I think it's just more of just like the natural kind of evolution of limbs and body parts. The running, the swinging, the landing on when you're pitching. So that's just kind of the natural what happens to your body. So I think that's kind of something probably just pissed it off a little bit. But and then now we kind of manage the symptoms and feel good about it going forward.
Is it something that makes you guys reevaluate at all, just like how the usage with him and his workload, or does this just go?
No, I don't think it's going to affect how. Maybe the short term, depending on how he feels. I expect him to make his start on Wednesday, and until I hear otherwise, I expect him to be in there either tomorrow or the next day until I hear otherwise. So I don't think so.
Someone who's always full go. Do you have to have a conversation with him just in regard to, when you're on base, maybe you don't need to be so aggressive trying to steal bases, or just being a little bit more mindful of the knee right now?
You know what? Yes. And I think we've done a good job of really tempering the stolen base attempts this year. But I think that sometimes, guys just want to go out there and they feel good in that moment and feel like they want to help their team. And he was trying to get in a scoring position with 2 outs right there. And so, yeah, but I think those are ongoing conversations.
Dave, you mentioned Will Venable before. I don't know how well you know him, but can you just talk about the job you think he's done so far this year, turning a team around like he has this year?
Will's a little brother to me. I coached him when I was with the Padres, when he was a player. I'm very excited for what he's doing. He's the perfect guy for the South Side. And clearly the players and the organization, he and Chris and Barfield, they're all aligned. And I'm happy to see these guys winning. And Will does things the right way, unflappable, and so not surprising.
He's been so good as of late, but that is a team that's been really successful against some off-speed pitches. Obviously, he's been going to that splitter a lot. When you look at this matchup for Roki in specific, do you like how this looks for him? Is this a good test for him, or how do you kind of see him now managing, just considering how far he's come?
It's a good test. It's a confident team. They do a lot of moving the ball around, bunting, stealing. But I think if his stuff is where it's been the last handful of starts, it's going to be a good day for us. But, yeah, they're always a good test every night, every outing.
Brock Stewart starting his rehab tonight. Is this going to be a long-term one again, or just a handful and be ready to go?
I don't know that answer. I know it's not it's a build-up situation, but it's also a foot, kind of how that responds to the workload. So I don't know that answer right now, yeah.
Will this be Tommy's last weekend on rehab?
Yes, last weekend, yes. I think if everything goes well for Tommy, we would expect him back, I think Tuesday, that's when he can come back. Thanks, guys. Snell, Glass feels great, so he's going to start kind of ramping things up, which is good. And Snell is doing his progression. Yeah, yep. But everything I've heard,
is now playing catch.
He is going to be starting soon. That's right.
以上、今回もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。別の動画でもお会いできるのを楽しみにしております。